Welcome, Lee. I'm so excited to be able to speak with you today, all the way from Canada, which is fabulous. Tell us a bit about who you are and a little bit about your business.
Well, I'm Lee, and I've been a massage therapist for 23 years. A majority of that 23 years has been spent working from home. I think raising children, kind of tag teaming with husband, he'd walk in from work and I'd start work. And I think treating it like a side gig, like a lot of my career after I had children, it was more of a side gig than a like main thing. And so in the past 4 to 5 years, my littlest people are old enough to be in school full time. And so now I am moving toward the business owner that I have always dreamt of being.
It's like growing up and becoming, oh my gosh, look at me. I'm an adult and I've got my own business now. Yay!
Yay!
So cool. That's awesome. So, what got you into massage or what got you into body work?
Do you know, this is a very interesting story and I laugh about it now. Can you believe that I became a massage therapist? I registered for school, showed up to the first day of school without ever having had a massage.
Awesome. Awesome. So, what
So I
was it
just
about
kind of
massage that you were like, I want that?
I just stumbled into it. I knew I knew I wanted to help people in some way, but I also knew that the path I wanted to take for education, I wanted to be interested in every aspect of it. And a lot of courses out there, universities and such courses are a whole bunch of stuff you don't need to know, and then a little bit of the good stuff. And I didn't want to go to school for a long time, and I didn't want to learn a bunch of stuff that didn't pertain to my life. And so I turned up at massage school and I've never regretted it.
That's fantastic. So, what is it that you loved? Like, obviously, you've been here 23 years. What did you fall in love with massage and body work?
I think innately we all want to help people. I mean, in some way, shape, or form inside ourselves. I find that I am very much a touchy person. So helping people heal through touch just seems to really fit. But I think too, as I've thought about it over the years, and like there have been times where I've been momming more full time, and there have been times when I've been massaging more full time. And when I pull back from the massage, what I notice is life is hard. Parenting is a marathon. So there's no instant gratification in your day with parenting. It's like, maybe 10 years from now, you'll see the fruit. But with massage, it's literally people leave an hour later and they're somewhat better. Maybe not completely, but there's that instant gratification of like, I can help somebody right now. And that fuels my tank, and that makes me want to learn more about how to help people more. So I think I need that in my life.
I love you. That was amazing. You have the hands of an angel. Oh, yeah.
Like,
I remember when I had our son, who's now 14, and after seeing 25 clients a week for a few years and everyone doing that, oh, it's so good. And then he screamed for 5 hours a day. I'm like, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Take me back to massage. People liked what
yes.
I did and appreciated all the work that I put in.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
All right. So you've been treating 23 years, running your business most of the time and dovetailing between mum and business. What has the pandemic been like for you over the last couple of years?
Um, well, I always keep saying we live in interesting times. We live in interesting times. At the beginning of the pandemic, I was working from home. We had this really cool, we were renting a house. Setup was awesome. Main floor had it was like meant to be a master bedroom. It had an ensuite and a bath. People could come have a bath, and I was doing it. And it was the best setup, and I was busy enough, but not too busy. And I kind of liked it like that. The pandemic hit, and as it were, the shutdowns and all the things. The shutdowns don't hurt as much when you work from home. Let me just say that. I mean, because the overheads are smaller. But what happened is at about the end of 2020, we found out we had to move out of that house.
Gosh.
And I needed to move out quickly. So not move out, I needed to move my business out quickly because the house was listing and you can't be showing a house and working in it. So I literally finished treating my clients on Friday and needed to find a new place on Monday. And I found out that after I had finished my last client. So it was like literally move on the weekend. I was very lucky to find a chiropractor's office that I could move into. But that changed everything. It changed my little fairy tale, so to speak. I mean, eventually I always knew that I want to still grow my business bigger because I haven't hired anyone yet. But you need to take sometimes baby steps, and sometimes life forces you in those directions rather than you taking those steps, because I think maybe sometimes I'm waiting to be ready. So I was in this situation where I found a chiropractic office to work in, and I stayed there for about 5 months. I was slowly dying in those 5 months. It was I'm a free bird. I don't always wear shoes, and maybe not even socks, and I like to have space. And I was in this chiropractic clinic, and it was really clinical, lovely people, but just really clinical and really small room. And I thought, geez, I've been 20 plus years in this career, and like kind of moved backwards. So that was kind of the first challenge that the pandemic presented. Was, I mean, on one case, it made things easier to separate work from home, but in the other side of things, it's like, oh, well, now I'm not happy. Now what am I going to do? And so I got a few months into this situation, and I went, no, I'm doing it. And that is when I stepped out and actually opened my own business and started out on my own.
So exciting. So exciting. So what, where did you, so you're now renting a commercial space?
Yeah.
And do you want to tell us a bit about what that's like? Because it's not just a room, is it?
No, I am actually sitting in my escape room. You can't see much of what's behind me, but so I have a treatment room, I have a reception area, and I have this big extra space that I haven't really decided what to do with yet. Actually, I have, but part of it is an escape room. So if somebody wants to just come have some quiet time, we've got foam rollers in here, we've got yoga mats, we've got nice big old chair to sit and read a book, so stretch, or balls to roll on, and all different things like that.
Which is just so exciting. I can imagine be like, often I know if I am super busy in a very busy season, I dive into my massage therapist and I dive on the table, and I'm probably completely wired, and it takes my therapist an hour just to get my nervous system to just calm its farm, like calm down. Whereas the idea of being able to go in and sit in an escape room, stretch, do those grounding things first, I think would be an incredible opportunity to allow, for me personally, deload my nervous system. So when I get on the table, it's like, half the work's already done. Because the body, given the right circumstances, will heal itself. Yeah. So if we can allow it to do that already before we get on the table, what a beautiful opportunity and space.
Yes.
Look, what are some setbacks or chaos that you've experienced over the last couple of years? How's that shown up for you? Or how else has that shown up for you?
I feel like the biggest one, now that, okay, you're committed to a commercial space and overheads look way different, and then you're told that you can't work. You have to close your business, or you have to quarantine, or you have to, and trying to pivot in a way that, you can still pay your lease payment and feed your children. So that, I think, has been the biggest challenge, is to not have the control, because, we tend to be self-employed because we want to control when we work, how we work. And it's never, ever been a thing to have somebody, regulatory bodies and health departments, come and tell you, no, actually, you can't work. What?
Huh? Yeah. It's I know throughout the pandemic, when we had in Australia, we had some of the states close their borders to one another. I remember thinking, it seems like bedroom doors on a family home they're there, but they never get used. Like, I didn't even know that we could close them. That's what it felt like. I was like, oh, is that a thing? Are we allowed to close the borders? Oh, they did. Oh, okay. I can't go into New South Wales, or I can't go to Western Australia. I'm like, I don't understand. This is crazy stuff, and
Yeah.
it takes quite a bit for me, for my brain to go, and we're doing that now. Okay, right. That's how this is working. Like I said, I didn't even know that that could actually happen.
Yep.
So I guess, what are some creative ways for yourself that you find out? How do you find some creative ways out of chaos?
Creative ways out of chaos. Well, you know what? You can only change what you can change. And I think developing this mindset of like, I'm going to change the changeables, but I can't change the unchangeables. So being like, well, okay, I can't go to work. That I can't change that. But I don't have to pity party at home the whole time. So, spend extra time with your kids because they're there too. Play games, do things that, pretend you're on vacation. I remember the first lockdown was 3 months long for us. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to clean my house. I'm going to pull out all the stuff and I'm going to purge. And I got about a week into that. And I'm like, I don't even know how long I'm going to be on vacation for. So I'm going to like kick it into vacation mode and, learn some new things and, learn how to French braid my daughter's hair. And I think it's just all in a matter of like, okay, life isn't the way I want it to be. And there is nothing I can do about it, but there is something I can do about how I deal with it. And so I think it's hard to, in the moment, go, oh yeah, I'm just going to go have fun with my kids. I don't know how I'm going to pay to feed them, but what does it matter? Let's just go have fun. Like, it's all going to work itself out. You're going to have some brilliant idea. You're going to like shoot a video and, something to make money somehow.
Yeah.
And the more stressed you become about it, the less creative flow you have. So
Yeah.
I think that was kind of the best opportunity. And when my children could go to school and I had to quarantine due to exposure, I was just like, well, it's a me day. I'm going to stretch. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to do all the things that you're too busy to do. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's why you've set up the escape room. Look, I think you make an excellent point, and I think this is really powerful and really important, that often we see a challenge and it becomes the biggest thing in our world and we don't know how to move through it. But it is our ability to focus on what I can control, or what I can change, or what are the variables that I have some influence on. I can choose how I show up to my family. I can choose what cupboards I do or don't clean out. I can choose how we're going to do this vacation lifestyle together. I have choice around that. I mean, so the whole purpose of this podcast is what is our power to choose in any given circumstance. It's so powerful. And I think it's important to just go pity party first. Like, just almost every person I've interviewed has gone their version of, whether it's shaking the hairbrush, having a tantrum, having a pity party, this sucks, I don't like it, and then choosing to not live there, I think, is the profound difference. Because it's when on the other side of that, we've got to break down to break through on the other side of that, when we're like, right, now what can I do? What could I actually do to change some of the circumstances or make this different? It does allow for more of a creative flow, which of course then leads to, well, of course something will come. Yeah. For you, when you're in a struggly time, do you have any agreements that you hold on to or that you make with yourself around how you're going to get through that?
I tend to pity party. I've been shaking hairbrushes.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I just think it's so important to do that.
It does, because you're frustrated. But I think I'm a visionary. I'm a big thinker. The small things are harder for me. The big things are easier for me. I know where my life is going. Like, I have a big vision for my life, better than I know how to go home today. So the big vision is the driving force. It's the thing that I'm not finished yet, because I do allow myself from time to time to go, okay, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to go, I don't know, sweep floor somewhere. And what always comes back is, but I haven't finished yet. I haven't even started. And so it's getting, okay, well, you know what? We have to do hard things. We have to do hard things. And either we press into them or they chase us. But either way, I think we can move through easier if we turn around and face it. But I just know that I haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah.
And there's more people. There's more people who need help. And there's more therapists. Like my dream is to mentor therapists. And so like in my business, have my client base, but then teach somebody how to, like, what do you learn in 23 years working with people? A thing or two.
Surely,
yeah. Surely a thing or two.
Yeah.
Right. And in order to go where I'm going, I need a team eventually. And I've not even gotten there yet. So you know, there's just so much more. There's so much more. And that I feel like is what drives me, is that's right there, because your kids are watching too.
Yeah.
And I mean, sometimes it is time to pull the plug and do things that are healthier, but sometimes they need to watch you persevere. They need to watch you fall down and get back up, because they're learning too.
Yeah.
And you know, I've got 4 of them, so there's a lot riding on this too.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about being a business owner and a parent, is that we become role models for our kids. Like whatever our sticky bits are, whatever our limiting beliefs are, is usually what shows up in business. And which I love. It's like, and like you said, you can either run from it or run to it. Really, you've got 2 options. If you're not running into them or you're not running towards them, it's probably chasing you. And it is an opportunity to learn and grow through whatever comes up, and then teach our kids how to move through challenges, how to overcome stuff, how to do stuff we don't like, how to say, actually, this is no longer in alignment of my values. I'm going to do something different, and to be okay in that as well. Like there's so many great learnings. I think business is just one of the best tools for learning like that. Any other circumstances through COVID that you can think of that you want to share that have been standout moments for you?
I think, and again, as massage therapists, we have a lot of one-on-one time with people, and collectively there's trauma.
Yeah.
And I think one of the biggest learnings is, you know, getting in there every day, getting my head right, because people needed to know there's hope, and people needed reassurance. And like, even though I'm not sure, I can put my sure hat on to help someone move through, because a lot of what we experience emotionally becomes a physical issue too. Yeah. And so I remember, you know, a lot of the conflict, and like at the end of the day, just going, oh my gosh, like I can't one more time. But like just talking people through, understanding, okay, you have fears, and your spouse has fears, and your children have fears, and maybe your fears aren't the same, and maybe that causes you to argue. But when we strip it all down, we're all just people scared and unsure. And if you can relate to people on that level of humanity, it's not on the level of what we agree on or what we disagree on, is on the level that we share humanity. Yeah. And I found myself in that place a lot, like just tearing it all down and being like, no, but you can relate on the level of humanity. You love your mother, you love your father. So you need to find a way to let this go. And now let it out of your shoulders. Yeah, you know. Right. And so there's fine lines there, because I mean, counseling is counseling and massage therapy is massage therapy, but there are, I think, within our professional parameters, there's a responsibility to, at least I feel it, to hold space for people and to allow people to sometimes verbally just get rid of it. And I think we're not over that yet. We're not even close. And I think like really some of the chaos is just starting with, you know, the PTSD, almost like low grade trauma that people have been through. And just, you know, I feel like massage therapy is one of the answers. Yeah. And so it's a driving force again, because people need still to know that there's healing. People need still to know there's hope. People still need to understand why they're tired. and why they're lethargic and they can't move and not motivated. It's like, you're not broken
Yeah.
forever anyway. There's just stuff going on, right? So
Yeah.
there's that. Like, I feel like in the COVID time, and I'm a big feeler, did you notice?
Yeah, we've noticed. It's beautiful. We can feel it. We can feel it.
But yeah, you feel my feels. And but when you can help somebody not only feel better physically, but move through this emotional barrier to perhaps open their mind to think in a different way that allows them freedom in their life, our work is only just beginning. And I feel like it's a unique opportunity.
Yeah.
But it's also an opportunity to practice what we preach.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that the last couple of years, living with so much uncertainty, look, and in a way, and this is probably, well, this is big picture. We're going to go there anyway. Let's give it a crack. Like, I think in developing nations, they're so used to uncertainty that the challenges of COVID were vastly different for them, because it often is pushed a lot of people into extreme poverty again, which we've been seeing for the last 20 years, that decreasing, and we've now seen it increase again. So different type of uncertainty, but they're so used to living with uncertainty that they haven't experienced the same trauma in relation to COVID that many of our developed nations have.
Yeah.
Because we're so used to, when I go to the supermarket, there is toilet paper and mincemeat. I breathe in air, I breathe out CO2, I go to the supermarket, I buy the groceries I want, and no one is telling me which grocery store I have to attend within a 5-kilometer radius, or what I have to wear on my body in order to keep myself and everyone else safe. Like, like, what do you mean that is, how is this? It's like the states being closed borders. Like, what? And I think part of our challenge and part of the trauma has been around so much uncertainty. And in like cognitive behavioral therapy, they talk about it's like an intolerance. It's actually a diagnosed thing. It's like it's an intolerance to uncertainty. And when I heard that term, I'm like, it just sounds like me, really. That's and humanity in general, in particular in developed nations. I don't know that that's a mental health condition. I think it's just, but we don't have to. How do you overcome it? You have to be exposed to lots of uncertainty. It's like, yeah, it's not helping. Like, it's because there is so many things. How long was a lockdown going to last for? We don't know. And is it going to get worse? We don't know. And is it going to help? We don't know. And some people don't like lockdowns and some people do. We don't know. What's going to be the long-term effects of this? Oh, we don't know. And we don't know. There's a lot that we don't seem to know. Like, there's an enormous amount of uncertainty that we're trying to deal with. And even as practitioners, I know here in Australia, as mandates were being passed down, the associations would get calls and they'd be like, we watched the same press conference that you guys watched. That's where we're getting our information right now. Like, they're not getting a kind of an industry-wide press conference first, then they come to the public. It's like, there's not enough time for that at the moment. We are literally all accessing the same information at this one point, and we can't answer your questions yet because we're still digesting, and now we have to go back to the health minister to say, what does that mean for our industry? And everyone else is asking, what does that mean for our industry? Like so much uncertainty.
Yeah.
Even imagining how much more challenging that would be when you don't have a focus like that. For us as practitioners, we're looking, going, right, what are we allowed to do? What can we, can't we? How's this work? To not have that, to just be stay at home, enjoy that, stay at home, is, and our body holds that tension. I guess what, throughout lockdowns and throughout challenges you faced in the last couple of years, what have you learned about yourself in that time?
I like to shake hairbrushes. No, honestly, like there comes, you don't have a choice. Like, sometimes the only way out is through. And it's way easier when you're doing a wall squat and your legs are burning, if somebody could tell you there's 10 seconds left, it's way easier. I like that better. However, I can continue.
Yes.
I can continue and I can continue. So there's a lot more resilience and there's a lot more strength in there than I realized. I don't like to feel yucky things.
Yeah.
but really, I'm not dead yet. And I've woken up several days and said, you know what, like I haven't died yet. So clearly I'm going to be okay. Yeah. And if that's got to be your pep talk today, well, I'm not dead yet, so I got to keep going. It's not always pretty. It's often not pretty. Yeah. But when you come to the end, and like the post-pandemic world is a little different, I'm going to call it that because I'm believing that. But when we can look from the other side, you can see that there was learning there, and there was developing there, and there was strength. And like, who opens a clinic, a massage therapy business in the middle of that? Like, I actually asked myself that the other day. I'm like, what was I thinking? Well, you know what? I wasn't, because I just needed to do the next thing. And the next thing that was right was this. And I can't wait until some magical day when COVID isn't a thing anymore, because it's never going away. So that's what I was thinking, but it seems a little insane now looking back on it.
Well, knowing what you know now, would you do anything differently?
No, I don't think I would change anything. It's just a matter of, this is what I did. And I can say that I did a crazy thing. I can say that I did, and might I add that in the middle of that crazy thing, I did have the best year that I've ever had financially, even though it felt like I was losing every day.
Isn't it crazy when we fact check? Like, we can sometimes feel like, ugh, because it's so hard and it feels so overwhelming, and then we fact check that with reality and go, actually best year in business in 23 years. Yeah, right. Okay, cool. Which is amazing. So what did you do? Like, what were some of the things that you did differently, do you think, that it created that result?
I sold packages.
Yeah, okay.
I sold packages. That was like the biggest thing that I've never done before. I've never done any sort of packages before, and I did, and it worked. And I'm not done with that. But like, when your accountant calls you at the end of the year and goes, "Did you really make that much money?" And I said, with my two hands. The truth is, like, the reason I did so well is because I was just trying not to die. I was just really trying not to die. And it sounds funny, but it's the absolute truth. And it's like, you just have to not die, and then you're living. And some, like, and that sounds awful. It sounds like a terrible existence, but no, really, like, because opening a business in the middle of a pandemic, in uncertainty, in being closed down, in quarantining, in people canceling, I'm just really trying not to die. Yeah. And it stumbled upon success. Now, can I build on that? Yes. Do I know more now? Yes. And am I going to go forward better? Absolutely. But I just wasn't dying. Yeah.
I was waking up every day and realizing you're still here and you've still got more, and that there is more living to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So exciting. So what do you think is the greatest impact you've had on the world because of the challenges you faced in COVID?
The chapter is still being written, but I'm inspired. I'm inspired because you can see how just one treatment room, just one person at a time, you can make a difference. Every person comes in with different needs, different stresses, different. And like, if you can just create this safe space where people can just be, and don't have to even talk to you, don't even have to, like, just tell me the bare minimum so that we can get this done. I'm watching that happen, and I feel like, that there's magic in quiet space. There's impact in not filling the room with words, unnecessary words sometimes. That it's really awesome to go through that awkward silence for the 3 minutes that it's awkward, and then just letting I say it's magic. It's magic. It just happens, and it's so focused. And so I think that's really it. I think that's the beginning of it. But that becomes inspiration. And the next steps in business are really motivated by the fallout of the pandemic. And that's what I'm doing is growth, is moving to things that can help people recover.
Yeah.
So that's why I say the chapter is still being written, because we haven't even started yet.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited. I've got goosebumps everywhere, like feeling
Yay!
that and into that. It is just
Mm.
realizing that you are really there to inspire your community to start to heal from what they've experienced, from whatever their experience has been for the last couple of years, is incredibly profound and powerful. And I think many of us are also on that journey to help people overcome what they've experienced, as they could not run away from any challenges. And it was pretty much smack bang in front of you for however long you're in lockdown, whether it was 5 days or 5 months or 5 lockdowns.
Yeah.
That ability to not escape what's going on takes a lot of courage to actually look back into that reflection and see what it is. So the way that you are helping people, I think, is absolutely beautiful. And I'm so grateful for you to share your story with us today. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Great to connect.
Yeah, it was awesome.